So, welcome back to the fourth part, I guess, of this little experiment in the Elder Scrolls. For this part I was going to take a look at how you make these wondrous little enchant rings that I've been using to great effect against enemies, even though my character is very poor at most other ways of fighting. In order to make enchantments, you basically need four things. You need a soul gem. I have a number of these soul gems here. This is a common soul gem, for example. You can find soul gems on dead enemies, for example, like you saw me do earlier on, or if you know what stores to go and look in, you can buy them, actually. It helps a lot if you have the Tribunal expansion, because then there's a vendor who resupplies them, so you can buy as many as you want. So that's the soul gem that you need. Yeah, actually for the whole of this tutorial I assume basically that you're having a Tribunal installed. That's what I have here. I mean, I can't really imagine anybody buying a game that old without at least buying, you know, the full version, I guess you could call it, the version with the expansions. So I've got the soul gem. The next thing I need, I suppose, is an enemy with a soul that I can trap inside this soul gem, and that will be sort of the magical energy needed for this enchantment. And I don't know if you can see it, but up front there's one of those ash ghouls that I've been killing relatively easily for a while now. He seems to be stuck walking up towards a brick wall, a rock wall, but I have a feeling that's going to change the moment he sees me in a different direction. So I'm going to try to capture his soul and use it for enchantments. Oh yeah, there he is. Gone away from the actual rocks now. Third, I need a way to cast the spell Soul Trap. So here we have it. And I have a little bit of skill in mysticism, so I can cast it relatively easily. Although I still need to take off this Traveler's Warning charm. Yeah, now I've got a 55% chance of actually making that work at least. You can make enchantments that cast most kinds of spells, including Soul Trap itself. So I do have a ring further down here that I've made that actually casts Soul Trap spells, which is what you need, I guess, if you're not very good at the mysticism skill. But let's just, for the sake of the argument, assume that we have some skill in it, at least like this one character has, and for example that you would like to... you haven't got any enchantments, I bet, and this is sort of my first enchantment, and I need to use a spell for the first one to capture the first soul that I can then use to make a Soul Trap spell. You can also buy soul gems that have been filled up with souls in them. That's, if you don't have any skill in mysticism, don't worry, you could just buy an already filled soul gem for that Soul Trap enchantment, and then you're set to go and can trap souls using that enchantment. So, enough with the talking, and a little bit more with the lighting, and I'll do my Soul Trap spell and sneak up on this nasty little critter. He hasn't noticed me yet because I'm sneaking and sneaking and sneaking and sneaking and sneaking and sneaking. I failed casting the spell, he hit me. I failed again. Finally. Okay, I've taken a bit of damage now, actually. So time to dig out my... I think I'll use the Frostclaw ring this time. 2 hits, and you can see it says you have trapped a soul, which I have. And if I look at my inventory now, you can see that well, I used to have 3 of these common soul gems. Now I have only got 2, at least in this pile. And that's because there's a fresh soul gem here. Here we have it. Common soul gem ash zombie in parentheses, which means that this ash zombie's souls has now been captured inside my common soul gem. Okay, next thing, he hit me a bit, like I said, so I need to heal up a bit. And then that means we've covered the soul gem, and the soul that went into the soul gem, and the soul trap spell that I use to trap a soul within a soul gem. There are... well, basically there are 2 things left that you need then, in order to make enchantments. The first thing you need is something to place the enchantment on, actually. Rings are good for this sort of thing, so I have a number of rings laying about here that I could use. And then finally, you need a way to be able to cast, or not cast as much as a way to be able to actually enchant this item with the enchantment that you want. And there are several ways of doing that in the different Elder Scrolls games, of course. In Oblivion, basically, you just needed access to a spell-making altar, which you got if you, for example, once you got access to the Arcane University. In Morrowind, it's a lot simpler than that, actually, because getting into the university required a lot of questing. In Morrowind, you just need access to some character who is capable of enchanting things. And there are a number of these characters as NPCs. They're called, surprise surprise, enchanters, that's their class. And you can pay them to make enchantments. I'm really tired now. My character is, so I'm just gonna get up her stamina a bit. The thing about enchanters, as I was saying, is that yeah, they will make you enchantments alright. They'll also charge almost ridiculous amounts of money for it. Yeah, that's true. They're a greedy lot, these enchanters. Probably, you know, intentionally to place some limit on the ability to make your own custom-made spells, which is obviously a powerful ability. This, however, is where Tribunal really comes into play, because if you have enchant skill in Morrowind, then you can make your own enchantments. You don't have to pay any greedy enchanter to do it, you can do it yourself. The thing is that even at a maxed out skill, that is, skill level 100 enchant, it's still difficult to make the most powerful spells, basically, or sorry, the most powerful enchantments. You'll fail, basically, even at a skill level 100 if you're trying something really powerful. So, okay, there's a stupid little rat here that I'm just gonna deal with. I think I'm gonna use the, yeah, the Ring of Ice Grip, the ordinary thing that I didn't make myself. That's kind of boring. It's good, should be good enough to deal with the rat. Yeah. Or I could have run away, simply. Now, well, I was supposed to be talking about... Sorry, I was supposed to be talking about enchantments, wasn't I? You can make your own enchantments, and there's a little trick to getting some quite fantastic enchantments if you have at least some skill in restoration, which this character has. 37 isn't that great, but enough for some cool things. So, as I've written in my guide about making good classes in Morrowind, and this is the one thing that does hold true almost no matter what. Restoration really is the most flexible and useful skill in the game, because with restoration skill, if you get to the right spell makers, you can buy a spell to let you fortify skills, and there are relatively few vendors who sell those spells, so you need to know where to go. But there's one in Tribunal expansion who does have that kind of spell available. So I think I'm gonna take a boat away from Ilunibi, the place, and head via another stop to Mournhold, which is the place added by the Tribunal expansion where you can find someone who sells Fortify skill spell. Let's see, let's say I go to Vivek. That'll let me get there eventually. I mean, I already have the spell that I need for this, but just to show you where you can get what you need for it, I thought I'd go to, Mournhold myself and show it to you where it is. Okay, so, yeah, that's the temple. Where I wanted to go actually was into Ebonhot and Vivek. Just costing a couple teleport spells, or rather I'm using teleport enchantments that I've made before. So here we are in Ebonhot, the Grand Council Chambers of Ebonhot, where there's a character that will ship you off to the Tribunal expansion called Mournhold. Here she is, Askian Rain. Hello friend, are you seeking transport to Mournhold again? Yeah, I think so. Heading back, are you? Hope you've gotten all that business cleared up. Yeah, please, I'd like to go back. Poof, and she teleports you to Mournhold. Okay, and this is the entrance, isn't it? Yeah, the Royal Palace reception area, which leads to the Royal Palace courtyard. And this is the map. I don't want to go to the Legion Depot or the jail, definitely, or the guards' quarters. I think a good place to go is to the Imperial Cult Services here in Mournhold. And let's see. Yes, Lorena Maria, the first gal basically that I bumped into when I opened this door. She has a lot of spells for sale, and looky here, there is some called... This one called Masterful Unseen Wisdom, and Masterful Golden Wisdom, and Masterful Fluid Evasion. These are spells that will fortify a skill. Well, this is a spell that will fortify a mysticism skill. Now, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. The whole point is that once you have access to one fortify skill spell, you have access to all of them. So you can hit spell making and make spells with a fortify skill effect. Okay? And what I want is to fortify my enchant skill, so I can make brilliant, fantastic, powerful, enchanted items. And the trick is that I'm going to fortify my skill by 100, which is a lot, for a very short amount of time, because the durations of spells don't really matter much in stuff like making enchantments, or for that matter making alchemy, or making, well, repairing your items, talking to people.